Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome to Sons of Liberty 1773. I'm your host, Bill Bailey. Well, I hate to tell you that we are heading into darkness, that it's going to get much worse before it gets better, that I'm convinced all roads leading to the 2024 election will, at a minimum, cause nationwide pandemonium and quite possibly nuclear world war. In my opinion, here are the four most likely scenarios I believe will play out in one fashion or another over the coming months. I'm not advocating for any sort of violence, and I pray there is none, clearly. Now keep in mind that I believe the current illegitimate criminal regime will do anything to stay in power, and I do mean anything. Just look what they are doing to law-abiding Americans that showed up on January 6th to protest the rigged election. How this regime sicked the FBI using armed SWAT teams to drag them from their homes in the middle of the night before imprisoning them with no rights to counsel or a speedy trial, trampling on their constitutional rights, or what they are doing to the alternate electors or anyone else who question the results of the fraudulent election, and especially consider what they have done to Trump and the relentless attacks that he continues to suffer from this rogue regime. So get that bottle of antidepressants out, because here we go. Number one, the Biden regime and their sadistic acolytes in Hollywood are already signaling to us using predictive programming with the release of the Obama-produced film Leave the World Behind, which is a film about a cataclysmic cyber attack on America that wipes out the grid and all communication and ushers in World War III. Plus the release of the movie trailer to Civil War. Here's the opening clip.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
These two films have many speculating that they are planning a massive false flag attack in 2024 on America's grid, one that sends America into the dark ages, or doing something so over the top that it would ultimately trigger a massive armed rebellion, a civil war within the continental United States, such as JFK and Trump, or what Megyn Kelly alluded to in this clip.
70 or 80 seconds here for this, but do you think Trump is going to jail?
I'm starting to worry. He's definitely going to get convicted in multiple jurisdictions. But Andy McCarthy, who's very smart on these things, was pointing out that Judge Chutkan in D.C. in the federal case on J6.
Yeah.
You know she hates him. That everybody knows that. In D.C., the jury's going to hate him. That he thinks there's some pretty good odds she will not release him from jail pending appeal after his likely conviction.
So what does that do to the system?
Glenn, that's why we have to have an undercard.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They got to run all the way to the end. Somebody has got to run all the way to the end. We have to have an undercard. But I mean, that's just chaos in the streets. Oh yeah,
America will burn if they put Trump in jail before this election.
God help us.
Burn. I don't want it. I just see the reality the same as you do, and we are going to need the National Guard, city to city. You know, MAGA is going to rise up, and there will be a lot of sympathizers who understand it and don't try to stop it.
In either of these scenarios, it would lead to complete mayhem. The Biden administration would use the widespread pandemonium to stay the election and stay in power. They would invoke martial law before using the United States military and National Guard against the rebellion. This could ignite global war as China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea would see America in peril as an opportunity to go forth with their maniacal ambitions to conquer their neighbors. If that were to happen, it would pull America immediately into world war and lead, most likely, to nuclear Armageddon and the dystopian Mad Max world that would follow. Scenario number 2. Between now and Election Day, there is a trigger event that causes a financial tsunami leading to hyperinflation and the complete collapse of the dollar, sending America into the Greatest Depression. The Biden regime would stay the election and use the turmoil to usher in a central bank digital currency, a CBDC, that is tied to a social credit score, allowing the government complete control of Americans' lives. This would lead to the dystopian nightmare Orwell warned us about. Scenario number 3. We make it to Election Day, and Trump is leading by a sizable amount. But the election isn't called for over a week after the election, so all the mail-in ballots can be counted. Ultimately, Joe Biden, or whoever the Democrat candidate is declared the winner. But 3/4 of Americans don't believe the results and are convinced the presidential election was stolen for a second time. This triggers civil unrest across America that is explosive enough to allow the Biden regime to declare martial law and use the power of the United States military and National Guard to punish any and all Americans that questioned his authority to stay in power. This scenario leads to a total and complete authoritarian police state, civil war, or both. Lastly, scenario number 4, and this is the best one. This is the one that leads to saving America, but it's not without issues. We make it to Election Day and Trump wins. The radical left, out of anger, activates their militant groups to begin creating widespread rioting in every major city across America. America is burning, yet the Biden regime, Democrat mayors, and Democrat governors do little to nothing to stop the nationwide rioting, thereby leaving Americans to defend themselves, their families, and their private property from the mob violence. America is in utter chaos at the brink of civil war, and President-elect Trump is hamstrung to use the military to squash the rebellion until he is sworn in as president in January of 2025. This, to me, is the best case scenario, as Trump will rightfully use the military and National Guard to restore law and order once he takes office, and from that day forward, we will begin taking our country back. So I just don't see any scenarios leading up to the 2024 election that doesn't cause some level of heated civil unrest across our country. Let me put it this way. I don't see either one of these scenarios playing out. A, that Biden, or whoever the Democrat nominee is, wins what is considered another contested election, and a majority of the people who voted for Trump simply accept the Democrats' continued destruction of America and rise of the authoritarian state. Or B, Trump wins, and a majority of Democrats think it was a rigged election, yet simply sit back and accept that Trump is going to be president again and will completely dismantle all the woke, globalist, and climate-related changes the Biden regime did to America and the world. This includes them knowing Trump will go after the deep state as well as everyone in the Biden regime, the FBI, DOJ, or anyone else that illegally wronged Americans during their reign of power. In both cases, each side is angry that the other side won the contested election, but don't take to any physical violence. Everyone remains peaceful, and it's just what it is. I think that scenario is pure fantasy at this point. So am I right or wrong? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please like, subscribe, and check mark the notification bell. Keep praying and keep prepping, my friends. I think we're in for a rough ride in 2024. May God continue to bless this great nation, and may the good Lord keep you and your family safe. Until next time, Sons of Liberty out.